Ah, shit. This episode of the BRG podcast has been brought to you by our patrons. Here at BRG, we'd like to thank those patrons who have subscribed and donated. It is because of generosity like yours that makes this show possible.
On this episode of the podcast, Kirok talks about upgrades to the HTC Vive's headset and upgrading his own. Ziploc Bob joins us to rant about RPGs, and I rant about a stupid Forbes article. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the BRG podcast. I am your host, Warp Jester, and my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Kirok.
Hello, everyone.
We certainly appreciate you joining us. And the BRG podcast is a weekly podcast where we cover gaming news, topics, tidbits, and input regarding gaming, a little bit of tech, some other things. Basically, entertainment in general, but mostly gaming. That kind of stuff. We try to do within the hour. It doesn't always work out that well, but hey. Hey, Kirok. It's been a week. What's been going on with you, my friend?
Well, not a whole lot, work, the usual. This weekend's going to be a birthday celebration for my goddaughter. They're actually twins. Yeah, so I've been slowly and systematically, they're going to be turning 9. I've been slowly and systematically turning them into gamers. Last Christmas, I got them the 2DS. Then at their birthday at this birthday, I got them Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, so they can trade Pokemons.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, so it's I'm slowly turning them into gamers.
Next year, a pair of Switches.
Maybe I don't know. We'll see. So all I've been really doing is kind of like getting ready for this, and of course the father, my best friend, I'm gonna bring him a nice bottle of black tequila.
Nice.
Yeah.
You should come over to my house. Bring me guests more often. Well, very cool. Very cool. I myself have just been busy working, and more working. I did get a chance to do some more editing on a bunch of video for my moto vlog / clips and whatnot.
Nice.
I had 2 64 gig cards almost full of video.
New camera?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Just
coming down the pipe at some point, I'm sure.
Gotcha. Okay.
I thought about it, and it basically boils down to if I had a cheap $25 shit cam, that. It works. The primary purpose of it was just so that if anything happens, I get an accident like that, it's there to record. But if I have my visor open, drive slowly, I can talk to it, and it sounds like a really shitty moto vlog, which is why I call them shitty moto vlogs. But then, for the people who don't know, there was a second one that was Seshi's, and I was borrowing it and getting some mounted to the side of my front wheel fork down the bottom. But the vibration from it snapped off, and the camera's somewhere on the side of Highway 17. Whoops. So I'm looking to replace my camera so I can give mine to her since it's the same exact cameras. But it's one of those things of, this was like a cheap $50 camera, and I was looking at cheap $100 cameras. Like,
Gotcha.
For the price tag, I might well look into paying a little bit more, maybe getting a slightly better camera, whether it's an old generation GoPro or whatever. Anyways, I digress. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so
Gotcha.
I'm going to take some time actually looking into it and make a decent investment. I personally am one of those weird people that I actually appreciate buying the cheap crap first and seeing how they work, what the limitations are. It's funny to say this, but it almost makes me appreciate when I buy the good thing later, because I know that's what I wanted to get into. And yeah, you can argue the point, well, yeah, but then you spent, this much money for the cheap one and this much money for the good one. It's like, yeah, but usually it's like for $50 for the cheap one or $300 for a GoPro, and I find out that I really needed a GoPro, was $50. More importantly,
I got you.
If you spend $50 for a cheap one and you really didn't need a GoPro, you saved yourself $300.
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
So, but anyways, yes, I'm looking to do that. But anyway, I had two 64 gig cards almost full. One was full. One was almost full.
Wow.
One of them corrupted, so that was. I mean, granted, the vast majority of it is just just ride video, commute back and forth, work, no talking, no nothing, nothing relevant or interesting. But there was some good clips in there, people being retards, and I think it might have been a moto vlog or two in there. I don't know. I honestly at this point I don't know what collection what was on there. So
yeah,
you know what? Easy come, easy go. I can always get on my bike and go do more moto vlogs, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, guys, get back on task. Because again, we tend to like to talk about gaming-related stuff. And so the first thing we always like to do is start off with the Speedy Bits, where we kind of run through some current news of the week and just give you the quick little highlights of it. So if you're interested, you can go Google it and find out more and read the articles in detail. And then tonight we're going to be following up with some MeatyBytes, which are some current news topics that we want to spend a little more time actually talking about for whatever relevant reason. It could be interesting, funny, insightful, or something that I really want to tear apart because the guy's a freaking moron. So we'll begin to that, but first we're gonna go ahead and start off with the speed bits. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into the speedy bits, and we're gonna start off at the top with news from the BBC regarding Donkey Kong and Pokemon Red and Green being added to the Gaming Hall of Fame. Now, this is. In addition to those two, we actually also have Halo, Combat Evolution, and Street Fighter 2. So these guys will be joining the likes of Sonic the Hedgehog, almost a bad thing there. The Sims, Doom, Pong, and World of Warcraft. This is the same group that had like Microsoft Solitaire was nominated and a few other games like that. A lot of these games can be nominated by people, but the final say is done by a panel of people related to this group. So good on you, Donkey Kong and Pikachu, for making it in.
Yeah.
Apparently Pikachu, they choose you.
Oh, goodness. So Breath of the Wild latest update addresses one of players' biggest complaint. This is reported by Polygon. I had no idea. The biggest complaint? Voice acting. Apparently the voice acting's bad. My game says 105 plus hours into this game. I didn't really see anything that was out of place or bad. Although they did choose a British accent for Zelda, Princess Zelda herself, and I don't know how that works into the story. It makes her
more sexy.
But keep in mind, she's never talked in any other games, so she's talking in this one. I don't think we have anything to base it on. Anyways, on top of that, you can play the game in all other different languages. Some of the Romance languages are in there, including Russian.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, if the biggest complaint in your game is voice acting and Kirak hardly notices it, can't be that bad.
Moving on, Half-Life, and this is isn't Germany one of the Romance language countries?
I'm not really sure I call Germany a Romance language, but
I don't know. I'm not sure, but
so I love. Don't get me wrong. I love German, but it's a rough language.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. It's for the first time in the last 20 years since the game's basically been out. It's now available in Germany as an uncensored game. It's available on Steam, and it's actually available, I believe, according to this article from Polygon, for free. Apparently, Germany has a list of objectionable media, and this game was smack on that list. So it now got cleared off that list, and so Steam is celebrating and putting it available in its full entirety with whatever is in the game that made it objectionable.
Awesome.
I don't know why. Yeah, I know. It's cool. I say it's cool, but I don't know why this game would be considered something that can't be released or used or played, or you know what I mean.
Next on the list, Castle Wolfenstein unedited. You're right. You're right.
That's great. I just connected that.
Yeah, there
Never mind. I'm a little slow.
Anyways, McLaren F1 team is using video games to hire its next sim driver. So, just so you guys know,
awesome.
McLaren and Logitech have announced a contest to call the world's world's fastest gamer. The winner of which will be offered a 1-year contract to work with the F1 team. Basically, what it boils down to is these guys actually have a very sophisticated sim that people can drive and test that's very close to the real analog. So you actually have like 3 cars, basically. There's 2 real cars they use for the F1 racing, and there's 1 virtual car that they work with to do testing and whatnot. So they're basically holding a contest. Now, the contest will pit 10 people against each other this fall at McLaren's Technology Center, and a number of virtual races on different platforms. 4 of those people will make it to the final round, if you will. The other 6 will actually be kept on as console in certain ways. So if you're interested in becoming part of the McLaren F1 team and you love racing sims, now's your opportunity.
Cool. Yeah, man. News. We got some VR news. HTC Vive will be releasing the deluxe audio strap. This is something that I've had my eye on. Rumor is they announced it will be out June 6th, but rumor is that it'll cost $99 US. So essentially it replaces the elastic straps that are on the head-mounted display and puts in kind of like a hard case that has a knob at the back and adjusts the opening and closing so it fits more comfortably.
Okay.
A lot like the PSVR. So I've got my eye on this. I'm not 100% sure if I want to go for it, but it's supposed to be super comfortable, and it has its own built-in headphones, which is pretty neat.
I like the idea of the ratchet straps. Everybody's saying like the PSVR was very comfortable with that, and it looks like it's got that much lower strap that goes around the lower part of the head, which is kind of like
exactly
the big point of it. I've never been really all that on board with the idea of the onboard audio stuff, because like I've got a really nice pair of headphones here. I'm not really sure I want to use necessarily theirs.
Exactly. I use my own headphones, and keeping on with VR, HTC Vive gets eye tracking. So this is not from HTC themselves. It is a third-party company called 7invention. Basically, they are creating add-ons, or they're little plastic rings that you pop into the visor section of the head-mounted display, and they flood the lights with IR light, which allows it to track your eye movement, so that can be put into game for different purposes. What's pretty cool is then it plugs into the USB headset, or there's an actual free port on the actual head-mounted display. Plug it in there, and that's how it gets the information and the power and everything to the computer. I already use that port with a webcam and a microphone, so I don't know if I could even use it. One of the good things about this is that they say it can allow you to play games and focus in on where your eyes are actually looking, and in that zone or that visual area, they have the highest resolution graphics while they don't have to have it on the outside. So that way your game can benefit from higher frame rates. In other words, a boost.
I was going to say that's pretty cool. That's pretty.
There's actually a name for that, but I don't remember what it was, and I didn't write it down. But just so you guys know,
the whole idea of that is when we're looking forward, even though you feel like you've got huge vision with detail, you don't. Your eyes actually have good vision detail right in front of you. Once you get even a little bit out, a lot of what you think you see is actually interpretation or interpolation from your brain.
Exactly.
So
and one last piece of info. This is from a Kickstarter project for they're called VR Glove. It's spelled VRGLUV. They've already raised more than the money that they were looking for in order to try and develop this hand. It's basically gloves that you put on that are force feedback for your fingers. So ideally, if you own a Vive or an Oculus Rift, you can put them on, and as you grab objects in your virtual world, the glove will give you haptic feedback and pull your fingers back to conform to the shape of that item that's in the VR world or the virtual world. So it gives you that extra sense of depth or immersion into the game. It's pretty cool. They have a few different packages, and there's one package where if you donate a certain amount, I think it's like $1,500 US, you get like 5 pairs of gloves and a few other things. Yeah, it's crazy. I think it looks pretty cool. I think when you see the pictures, it looks a little bit big, but I don't know if they're going to be, because remember, it's just a dev kit kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
it's
they
going to be,
may
at least
revise
first
it.
gen. These kind of things always going to be like that, guys, just so you know, because it's first generation gloves. In order to have that force feedback, they have to have basically motors that can resist you doing what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Other interesting things, PCs are not dead yet. Dell expects a booming growth in PC gaming sales over the next 5 years. I just had to throw this in here as kind of a little bit of a snub, because there's always this ongoing, oh my god, the PC market's dying, and long live whatever else, you know, gaming, mobile, console, whatever. But Raymond Wah, W-A-H, sorry if I said this wrong, who's the Senior Vice President of Consumer Product Marketing at Dell, relying on demand for PC, or is saying that he's relying on the idea that demand for PC gaming is expected to have booming growth over the next 5 years. Now, there's a lot more detail as to why he's saying this. I encourage you to actually read the article. But basically, Wall believes that esports is one of the major contributing factors to this demand. People are watching games that Nachopanda is playing, and they're saying, my god, I need to buy this game, and I need a better system for it. So it's all Nacho's, you know, input that didn't happen. So good on Nacho. No, seriously though. But, we talked about esports being a big deal, and I'm also going to put in there, you know, giving Nacho a hard time. But a lot of people are doing a lot of game streaming, and that's also encouraging interest in that. So that's kind of where things sit at. This will turn in. This in turn is making Dell put more focus on their gaming segment of the market. And just as a reminder, Dell owns Alienware, which is a gaming boutique for PCs.
Right.
PC boutique. You know what I mean.
I got you. On the same wavelength.
Okay, guys.
Welcome to another edition of your game releases. Let's begin. On May 9th, Birthday's The Beginning. This game is a simulation sandbox game coming out for both PC and PS4. When I first laid eyes on it, to me it was a cross between Minecraft and Spore. That's right, I said Spore. You don't actually get to create the creatures in it. What you do is you get a kind of like a plot of land, and you get to manipulate the environment. And as you manipulate the environment, creatures come about. They evolve and they change based on what manipulations you make in the environment. So you can do things like change temperatures. You can do things like change elevation in land, lower land. It's a pretty cool game. Overall, it struck me as a cartoony, really kid-friendly game. Looks good, but yeah, I got Minecraft, thanks. Also on May 9th, we have Strafe. Strafe, I'm telling you guys, this is looking like a really cool game. It is a violent gore / action first-person shooter type game coming out for both PC and PS4. It is a throwback to the days of Doom and Quake. In fact, when I saw this, I was thinking it's a mix between the two of those. Only it's got over-the-top kills, blood, and gore. And one of the cool key features of the game is that it's randomly generated. So the levels you play are never the same. Every time you play this game, you're going to encounter new levels, new enemies, and things like that. It's pretty interesting. If you go to Steam and watch the video, the promotional video that they made, it's kind of like a commercial. They really made it fit into the 90s, mid-90s, and it's stupid, gory, over the top, and it was fantastic. Check it out. And finally, I know it's a short list this week, guys. May 11th, Minecraft Nintendo Switch Edition. That's right, you heard me. One of my favorite games of all time, Minecraft Nintendo Switch Edition. I have it on PC, Xbox One, Xbox 360. Now I'm going to get it on the Switch. I'm getting this game. You just got to have it. I even have it on the Vita. So what's there to say? It's Minecraft. You get to go around, build, explore, mine, fish, do all the stuff that you know and love as Minecraft. Yeah. That's it. All right, guys, that's it. Short week, but I hope you guys enjoyed these releases, and thank you for joining me.
Okay, welcome back, guys. So, here we are with the MeatyBytes. I'm going to start off with one that it's something where I've kind of been watching.
Sorry, Cransel. Cut.
Yeah.
Cut. Cut.
Tell me you were recording, right?
Oh, I am recording.
Okay.
I just totally forgot to put up MeatyBytes.
Oh, I see.
All right, now we're good. Sorry.
So I'm just going to keep going. By the time you watch this, you would have already heard this. Thanks. Player Unknown's Battleground. I want to talk about this game. This game has been out since end of March this year, and it's been picking up in popularity. Actually, it's already at a point where it's super popular. The game is an early access game on Steam, and it's about $36.99 Canadian. I don't know what that translates to into US dollars, into real money.
Freedom bucks.
So it's an early access game, and that's nothing new. Okay, so early access has actually been around for the since like 2013, March of 2013 on Steam, where a developer can, while they're in the process of still making a game, and they call this game either alpha or beta or close to one of those two places, they can make it available at a lower cost for a person that may want to buy that game, and then help give information back and forth to make the game better. That's where this game is at, pretty much. But as far as it is in that realm, it's been a pretty popular game. Digital Trends basically is showing that the game, as of March 23rd of this year, has so far sold 2 million copies. Yeah, so even being an early access type game, it has basically sold a ton of copies, and they are doing kind of like a celebration. The company or the developer that makes the game is called Bluehole Inc. I love that name.
This is appropriate.
This is Bluehole Inc. The CEO, Gang Seok Kim, I'm probably butchering the name, but Gang Seok Kim has announced that they're going to be organizing a charity drive to, well, they didn't say specifically, but it's a charity drive, and they're willing to match $100,000 worth of whatever the goal of the money is raised. They're actually already over that. If you go to their website, you can see. And the whole point of this is basically they're having, 64 Canadians, 64 Americans and 64 Europeans go head to head and play different types of competitions battling in this game.
Nice.
So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because this game is nothing special. I've watched people streaming this, including our beloved Nachopanda, okay? He's been streaming it, and here's the thing. It's been pulling me. I want to buy this game. I want to play. Maybe I'll buy it and stream with him as well. I don't know. But it doesn't do anything really that new. There are a ton of other games that have come out that are first-person shooters that have been a lot more popular. Just to list a few: Call of Duty, Battlefield, Quake, Half-Life, Medal of Honor, Ghost Recon. There's a bunch, and they've been IPs that have been recurring over the years, right? Mm-hmm. This one comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, in about a month and a half, it's like top charts on Steam. All the streamers out there, this is like the third most viewed game on Twitch and on Beam, and they're just going crazy streaming this game, and people are watching it. I'm guilty. I was watching it. And the reason I wanted to bring it up was, like, what makes this FPS shooter so special that it gets all this attention, all this popularity?
It wears a helmet?
Well, you get a
helmet.
So, okay. Even though it is an unfinished game, there's some features that it has, like real-world weapon library, including ammo. So there's basically the guns you're picking up in this game. Well, what I mean by that is the guns you're picking up in this game are real-world guns. Oh, they're not like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, where you get these, mythical advanced phasers. Yeah. And a lot of people, personally, I'm not a fan of that stuff. I want the real stuff. You got rideable vehicles in this game. You got land and water. You can even swim and drive boats in it. You got leaderboards in this game, so you can see how you're doing compared to other people in the in the Battlegrounds universe. And it also has solo play. It also has duo, meaning you and someone else, and it also has squad play. I believe it's up to 4 people. The game is just a first-person shooter. You're dropped in the middle of an island. It's a huge, massive world online multiplayer. And it is a open-world type last man standing shooter. one of the things that, let's see here, hang on, I wrote some notes down. Yeah, it's like, okay, one of the things that, like, I was trying to look at this game and see what it was about this game that's making it so popular. And there are a few things that I've written down. Some of them, it's not new stuff. It's some of these things that I'm going to list off are essentially the same as what those other games I mentioned a few moments ago have already, put into their games. There are still some bugs, but one of the big pluses is for an early access game, it's actually pretty bug free, pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, there's and this is, I think, the gold or the icing on the cake. That's even better. On the top right, as you're playing the game, there is a counter that tells you how many people in the world are alive. So it says the game starts with 100 people. Everybody joins a game or a lobby. In that lobby, you see people pop in and out. Once that lobby gets full, and it's basically a small island off to the side of the big island where the lobby is held. Once you get an in-game, they call it Spawn Island, and you can actually go there while in-game. Pretty cool. 100 people pop into the world, and then a timer starts, and then the game starts. And the way it starts is a plane flies over the massive island, and everyone can decide to jump out at any point in time.
Okay, I actually saw our beloved Bunny playing this as well. He actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he is changed his name periodically, but I call him Bunny because he's my buddy. Anyways, yeah, I see this. So people fly in, they drop in, and then it's
free for all. You start with nothing. So you have no clothes on your back, no guns, no weapons,
You're
nothing.
not naked. You just don't have any armor.
Correct. Thank you.
You have nothing but the clothes on your back.
So you parachute in, and here's the thing. Most people will wait till they get over kind of like a village or a little town area, and then they all parachute out. And the problem with that is that everyone you see falling down or parachuting out in the air, you're going to get on the ground, and everyone is going to struggle to find whatever guns they can and kill each other off.
Yep.
So as you are doing this and as you're collecting stuff, you'll see that counter in the top right corner I mentioned slowly go down, slowly go down. You, obviously, the goal is to make yourself number one. In other words, be the last man standing or the last person to live on the whole island. And it's that little counter, I think, is probably one of the reasons why that game, it just gives you that incentive just looking at that number.
Interesting. I find that kind of fascinating because it kind of reminds me of what was that first IO game? Where a little blob that gets bigger. I'm trying to remember the name of it now.
Oh.
Agario, I think was the name of the game.
Okay.
A little circle. You
yeah.
But one of the big things is you saw the leaderboard, and all of a sudden you see yourself on the leaderboard, climbing at the top. It was like this raging incentive. You get more and more paranoid because you're getting near the top, and of course people are going after you because of it.
And so as you counter to see yourself, progress. And as you kill people, you get to loot them. So all that stuff, weapons and armor and bullets and health packs, they all accumulate as the further you go.
Been doing this in Minecraft forever.
The other part of it, I think, that makes it really cool is that uncertainty that when you parachute in, you don't know what you're going to find. You might end up in a little town with 4 or 5 houses that has nothing, and then you're stuck scrounging, running from one town to another on foot. What's really cool is you can drive motorcycles, jeeps, cars. You can even use boats and take boats around. It's got, I think the other part of the formula is it's got the perfect balance of luck and know-how. Meaning if you are doing a co-op with a squad, if you guys do know what you're doing, you can actually progress pretty far in the game. Although don't ride in a car all together and have somebody shoot it to hell because you'll all die at once, which I've seen. I just wanted to bring it up. It's a really cool game. It's kind of like what's hot and what's in. But what I was trying to figure out is why was this any different than any other shooter, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's mainly that little counter on the top that's just telling you, yeah, I'm getting there. Oh, look, there's 25 people left. Oh, look, there's another 5 people left. Now, 2 more, me and him.
There's different, solo versus squad and all that. So does the game have different modes where if it's you and your 3 friends, then you win? or at the end, is it turn on your friends and start shooting them down?
So that's a great question, and I have not yet seen that play out. So I'm assuming that it is basically if your squad survives, it's counted as one. But I honestly don't know.
3 people left. Oh, Kirok. Oh, whoops, right in the leg. Sorry, Kirok.
Oh, friendly fire is a real thing. Friendly fire is a real thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about.
When it's down to just you and your buddy, it's not friendly fire, just for the record.
I'm probably gonna buy it. I'll buy it.
Some of these games are fascinating, and like I said, I was watching Bunny play a little bit of it. It is interesting, and I love games that have some. Oftentimes, it's funny. You'll see this. It looks like any other game, and from the way this looked, for a little bit I watched it, and from the way you're describing it, it almost sounds like it took a little bit of Grand Theft Auto's open world play with a good first-person shooter mainstream game and a little blending of some other little bits and bobs. But really, it's just one of those things that I honestly feel like this looks like your typical game that was just one of those, by sheer luck, happenstance, and a little bit of logic, they happened to stumble across that vein of gold.
It's like that little formula, and they happened to get it just right. The timing was just right. It just worked for them.
Now, sadly, though, I will say in a slightly pessimistic tone that these kind of games, as neat as they are, these tend to sometimes. I'm not trying to be mean here, but they tend to be kind of games that they flare really brightly. Yeah. And then they completely burn out.
Fizzle out. Yep, yeah. I know exactly.
A year from now, is this game going to be a thing? Yeah, like that kind of deal.
If the only thing I can think is if it's early access and they do well and they release a full version of the game, this could even be something that we might see. It's the kind of game that would work well in like esports.
I could see that definitely. Right?
Yeah.
A first-person shooter with any kind of stratagem. And the other thing too is these kind of games, when they're kind of Wild West, they can work great, but the best I've ever seen for any kind of first-person shooter always, especially when it comes to esports, is a game that has mechanics that are utilized or leveraged to have an advantage when you're in a team environment. Yeah. If a game is solely just every man for himself, it doesn't make any sense to have camaraderie beyond just the basics of just one less person shooting at you at that time kind of thing. Yeah. That's a big deal. So as long as they kind of emphasize that part of it, it could open up a lot of doors, like you said, in esports and other things. So bravo for you guys. And again, guys, I'm not dissing on it. I'm being pragmatic in the whole aspect of it looks interesting. It's got a lot of elements to it that I do find fascinating. And I'm curious where it goes. I'm just kind of looking at the way it runs versus what I've seen in history. So who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
Makes sense.
For my MeatyByte tonight, I bring up this wonderful opinion article submitted to Forbes. Now, I'm going to say this right at the top here. This is a Forbes article as submitted by this Eric Kane person who's a contributor. So take that for what it's worth. It talks about Windows S in the Surface laptop are bad news for gamers. I saw this title. I did, schooling for interesting topics for news. And I look at it going, what the hell? Now, the reason for this is, in case you're not aware, first of all, let's talk about Windows 10S and the Surface laptop. These are two different things. First of all, Windows 10S is the new line of the Windows operating system. S is being the streamlined version of it. Basically what this is it's a stripped down Windows 10 that's, well, one of the most notable things about it is it will only run Windows applications from the Windows Store. So you can't run executable installer, things like that on this system. So it's very, very, very fixed in that regard. That has got this, for some reason, gotten this guy's dander up. And again, I find this a little hilarious. Now, I want to kind of go down the list and kind of pick his ass apart because I got to be honest with you. I'm taking this guy, this is a lot of clickbait, and I kind of, I fell into it in that regard. But I want to pick this guy apart because I hate people that do this kind of crap. So, to start with, he says, Microsoft's newest operating system abandons all pretense of openness in favor of closed ecosystems. You're absolutely right. But again, the reason for this is is this is geared towards education.
Right. Okay.
This is a education geared OS. So it's geared towards schools.
Right.
And the thing that kills me about this is one of the things he says is oh, this is supposed to go up against MacBooks. No, it is not. It is very squarely not going up against MacBooks. What this is going up against is the new crown leader coming up in the world, which is Chromebooks.
Chromebooks, exactly what I was thinking.
Chromebooks have become immensely popular in education, and to be clear, we're talking about K through 12, not college. This is a popular spectrum for Chrome right now because up until now, somehow, and I don't know how, Apple has been a predominant player with either iMacs or iPads or things like that. But Apple, as we all know, well-built, logical, very good framework, but expensive. Chromebook comes in. They're immensely more secure because they have a very limited range of what they can do. You can't just install every virus there is. Because they're Chromebooks, a lot of stuff relies on cloud-based services like Google Docs and so on. And the hardware can be very, very cheap. Chromebooks can be very, very, very affordable for classrooms. So this becomes a major thing. Microsoft sees this and realizes we've got kids growing up getting used to Apple's system and Chrome's system and not Windows system. This is a problem to them, obviously, because they want to have their operating system be the predominant system that people get used to. I mean, and this is something that has worked through history, obviously. The whole aspect of how Microsoft really kind of won the desktop war, if you will, or won the business war, was getting their OS in front of everybody in a personal manner, putting a personal computer on every desk in every home. People get used to using Windows. When they go to work, they want to use something that's familiar to them. That's how Microsoft got its dominance for Windows. So this is what they're gearing towards, is having this OS that goes head-to-head with the Chrome OS. Now, here's a first glaring issue. This guy is talking about how this is horrible for gaming because, oh my God, this operating system won't work for gaming. This would really honestly be akin to the fact that I would say, oh my God, the new Pixel phone is the most horrible thing for Microsoft Xbox players.
They're not getting rid of Windows 10, though, right?
No, this is simply taking the Windows 10 operating system and streamlining it for educational purposes. And because it can only do certain installs from the store, they're approved safe apps. Kids can't be installing things they shouldn't. Can't cause issues, viruses, etc. Now, here's the other thing that drives me nuts is nobly absent from Microsoft Store is things like Steam, GOG, I can't remember EA's
Origin.
Origin, thank you, are all missing from the thing. Well, yes, but then again, it's not Microsoft's responsibility to go out and make these people make installers for the Microsoft Store. Not to mention the fact that, as far as I'm aware, there's no restrictions to say they can't put their software in the Microsoft Store. Now, the thing he didn't make a note about on this, he says, is unless Valve and the rest of these game companies decide to give Microsoft a cut of their profits, they won't be offering versions for the Microsoft Store anytime soon. Well, how is this news? What do you think happens when you want to create a piece of software for the Google Play Store or for iTunes? Apple gets a cut of that. Google gets a cut of that. Hell, you go to the Samsung store, they get a cut of that too. This is a new architecture. This is typical of things. I mean, for that matter, you're telling me about Steam not being able to get on Microsoft to give them a cut. How do you think you get your game on Steam?
On Steam, exactly what I was going to say. If I'm a developer and I make a game and Steam will publish it, or not publish it, but
they deliver get a cut of that.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I mean, seriously, it's like, really, it honestly is like, wow, you know, this throne makes an absolutely horrible table. It's a chair. If you're buying a chair to eat on, you're probably an idiot, like this guy, to be honest with you. I think it's just it's absolutely maddening that people put up these kind of clickbait articles, and the fact is, I have to assume that this person actually believes this to some extent. Now, let's talk about the laptop itself. The other piece of this puzzle is the actual Surface laptop. This is a thin 13.5-inch laptop that's going to run it's going to run Windows 10s. Really, honestly, it basically boils down to it's a $1,000 laptop. They'll have Chrome 10s pre-installed. And again, the focus of this kind of is for the classroom. And again, K through 12. It's made for education. It's not meant to be something for gaming. Now, that said, this laptop, depending on the range, you go from low end for an i5 processor to the high end for an i7. At the high end, which is going to cost you $1,000, is an i7 processor with a 512 gigabyte SSD and 16 gigabytes of RAM.
Still pretty decent.
Yeah, this is a slim book like the Apple Air. It's not going to have an NVIDIA or an AMD video card or chip in it. Again, it's not meant to. You're going to use the Intel integrated graphics processor that's part of the die. And to be quite honest with you, and people are going to probably get all pissed off at me for this, there are a lot of games that can play. And I'm not talking like high-end games like the game that Kirok talked about, things like that. But I will bet you that you can pull off games like, you know, all the usual simple games you play when you want to kill some time, up to things like World of Warcraft, to be honest with you. Well, you can pull it off with simple graphics turned on. So this is not ideal for gaming. Well, it just really depends on what kind of game you're doing. If you're buying this laptop to distribute to kids, you don't care about gaming. If you're buying this laptop for your kid for school stuff, you're not going to care that much, but it can do a little extra. Now, here's the other thing. Is he says the Surface laptop was never geared towards gamers. So he's acknowledging this to his end. It's geared towards Apple customers who have a terrible support for games for years now. Again, he says it so matter of factly, like it's a secondary thought. He's wrong. He is so beyond wrong. Again, it has nothing to do with games. It has nothing to do with games. And I'm looking at something like, what are you trying to talk about? So he goes on to say, it's also being marketed towards students. He says it's kind of like after, like, oh, it's really geared towards Apple. It's really geared towards Apple. Oh, and students for education too. And the thing that again makes me think he's missing the point here that really just kind of drives me nuts is it's also being geared towards students, many of whom may not care about games, but then again, students might. Well, if you're a kid, you're probably playing Xbox, to be honest with you.
True.
If you're an adult, you're probably going to buy a better system.
Yeah.
Again, this is geared towards K through 12. The other thing that's even more interesting is this last comment he makes, which is what worries me more than the attractive but lackluster Surface laptop is the potential encroachment of Windows 10s as a closed garden operating system into our day-to-day lives. Well, that's an interesting thought and all, but there's one little caveat to this. If you get a Windows 10s operating system on anything, whether it's this particular laptop or if you just get it outright for educational purposes, for $49, you unlock the full potential of Windows 10. It becomes a Windows 10 Home Edition.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
that's...
It's already cheap to begin with for educational purposes.
For educational reasons, yeah.
And you send your kids on to college. I'm sure they love the ideal situation where the kids just can take the hardware with them, kind of a thing, or kids get used to it and they say, hey, I've got this copy that I bought for my kid up through high school, and now he's off to college. You pay $50. Now it's a fully unlocked, fully capable Windows 10 edition of Microsoft's building, Microsoft build. So I hate to tell you, dude, but you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. And you're fucking stupid. Sorry. Anyways, guys, that is my take on this. Again, I read the article. He does acknowledge, some of the things we talked about, but he does it in such an obtuse way. Again, it's kind of a clickbaity article. That said, I bring this kind of things up because I see this all the time. So whenever you see articles, even from something as renowned and respectable as Forbes, it's not always that renowned and respectable. Just saying. All right, guys, that wraps up our MeatyBytes tonight. We certainly do want to hear your input and your take on it. Take a look at some of these. Take a look at the game that Karak's talking about. Let us know what your take is on it, and take a look at this article and let me know your input. I would love to hear a little feedback.
Hello everyone, I'm Ziploc Bob, and today we're doing another section of Bottle Rocket Rants. Today's section is RPG tropes. This is not an exhaustive list, so I can do a follow-up. However, there are a few things that I've noticed that irk me about RPGs. Now let's start with the beginning of the game. Number 1, every RPG starts the same. Why is it whenever I play an RPG, the first thing my character does is wake up from oversleeping and miss some important event in his life that he knew about in advance, or she, but it's usually young male teenagers that do this shit in RPGs. Whether it's Red from Pokemon or Chrono from Chrono Trigger, it seems that if you're the lead character of an RPG, you always oversleep. Hell, even the opening section from The Witcher, a more modern RPG, does this, but at least they have the decency of saying, no, you're not just some stupid teenager that decides to sleep half the fucking day away. You were badly injured and found this way, and you woke up just in time to start the plot. But okay, my character's awake, and I get to socialize and find out that, surprisingly, I have amnesia. And that's why I have to do a tutorial, even though I am totally a badass that does badass things all the time. Welcome to a little something called Gilligan's Prescription. Any character who has amnesia will be cured before the end of the game, and they will not like what they find out about themselves. Bonus bullshit points if said amnesia is caused by none other than the tropiest of all tropes, a bonk on the head. Even though my character has his or her ass kicked plenty of times before and probably has been concussed multiple times during the training for their said profession, it was that bonk on the head that made them forget everything they learned ever. Number 2, you always start fighting the same shit. But if you somehow make it through all this without running into any of these tropes, you'll run into the most notorious RPG rule ever. That's actually even used to this day. Your first job will always be pest control. I call this the Orkin rule. Your first opponent will be some form of insect or rodent. If you're lucky enough, you'll even be fighting, instead of a pest or rodent, something to where it's like a snake or wolf, to where instead of being pest control, you got upgraded to animal control. Now, these will be giant versions of these animals, however. It's almost always the same form of a pest that you'd call your exterminator to take care of, if not animal control. So let's see. Fallout 3, rad roaches. Most D&D games, giant rats or the ever exotic were-rats. Really? Lycanthropy comes in a vermin variant? Fucking please. Next thing you're going to tell me is that wherever I start a game, the location will be wiped off the fucking map. Number 3, no. My beloved village rule. God damn it. So, this is usually in every RPG, as well as where you start, where it's either by the midpoint of the game, but most usually the ending of the opening scene. This will happen, especially in Bethesda games. You'll never be able to go back to your starting area, whether because it gets destroyed, you're exiled, stranded in a completely different location or dimension with no way back, or all three at once. It's usually a good idea never to get too attached to the opening area of any game, and to go ahead and experience it in its entirety almost immediately, because you're not going to see it that much longer at all. Sorry. Some examples of this include The Witcher and the keep at the beginning, or the starting area in most Bethesda games, whether they be vaults or dungeons. The only exception is Skyrim. However, when you come back to the burnt down area of the ground, it totally counts in its own way because nothing's fucking there anymore. But time to wrap this up with number 4. Kingdoms suck and empires are worse. Okay, so this is how it works. Kingdoms are good, empires are evil, in almost every RPG ever. You're typically a hero working for X kingdom and defending it from Y empire. The problem is the two major roles of politics. The first one is if there's an advisor for the good guys, he's evil. And the second one being, if there's an advisor for the bad guys, he's fucking worse and probably the final boss. Then there's the third rule of, even though you work for the king, he's not going to fucking fund you. So not only do you have to deal with bad guys on your side and theirs, but you also have to deal with zero funding. Listen, I could go on. However, I'm starting to get pissed at one of my favorite genres of games, and my time limit is pretty much up. So be sure to tune in next time, and I'll definitely attack something else that makes us all ask, how is this still a thing?
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. Been an interesting day for me. I've been kind of... So, sorry about that, Kirok.
It's all good, man. Today was great.
Yeah. So, what's coming up for you, man?
I'm planning to see if I can start streaming by next week.
A little more Twitch stuff.
Yeah. Well, I got all my VR stuff set up and everything. I actually ordered a special mic to get better sound. Really? Yeah, but I probably won't get that for a couple of weeks, but it won't stop me. I can still use the system I have right now.
So you got a mic
it's an actual lavalier, or what do they call it, lapel mic or whatever. And it's not.
We're gonna get a video of Kirok step in his gear. You're not gonna see his head anymore. It's just gonna be this big mass of wires.
That, and I want to see if I can start streaming again on this system, like games on. I'm gonna be streaming on Beam, though. I'm not gonna go to Twitch.
I like Beam a lot. Again, I know it's not
like
popular, but
yeah,
we'll see where it
goes. Maybe I'll get the game. Player unknown player. I can't even remember what it's called. That's another thing. Better name. And maybe stream along with Nacho as well. So we'll see.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I got to play with Nacho once when I was doing he's doing Rocket League, so I joined him for a couple of games. That was fun.
Cool.
So you got game night for Project Singularity coming up?
Yes, I haven't checked though. So I have nothing to report on Project Singularity this time around.
We're actually recording a day earlier, guys. We usually record on Saturday, we're recording on Friday. So what hasn't happened yet is either A, everybody in Project Singularity got together, had a great old time, or B, only Kirok and Walden showed up and talked for a few hours.
Which has been the staple for the last few weeks.
Let's go ahead and have everybody pause the video now. Well, then pause it. We're gonna go ahead and have a straw poll here of what you think is going to happen this weekend, and come next week we'll find out. Stay tuned for this exciting conclusion of this weekend. Anyways, guys, but definitely keep up with Kirok as always. He's got a Twitter account, so you can keep up with there. He does have a Twitch account. Basically, just put in Kirok, most oftentimes going to followed by Craft, and you'll find him. Yeah. So, and most of this information is going to be in the doobly-doo below kind of thing, so you can usually find some bits and bobs about him. So, doobly-doo. That's a BDA-ism for me.
BDA, yeah. BDA always says the doobly-doo.
The doobly-doo. The doobly-doo down below. I myself, guys, have actually been, I'm actually a little kind of excited right now, just because we're finally out of the rainy season. It seems like I don't think we're going to get any more wet. We're actually a little bit windy, kind of cold this weekend, but it was really warm this weekend. It was gorgeous riding with us. I've been out on a motorcycle enjoying my commutes to and from work. This weekend, I'm actually going to be going out with Seshi. We're going to be going out riding all around the Central Valley.
Cool.
And, around here in California. And actually, part is to get out and actually ride, because we haven't had a chance to get out and ride together in a very long time. But also part of it is I'm looking into buying a tractor. And people were like, yeah? Hey, you know what? Farm Simulator was popular, right? So just shut the fuck up. I'm doing an RL, goddammit.
If you want, I'll gift you Stardew Valley, man.
Oh, Jesus. No, but I'm actually looking into a tractor because I've got a driveway that's completely hoopa-jooped that I need to get resurfaced and then put rock down. Because right now, it was so muddy from these horrid rains we had. And it's a long, very long, 400-foot long driveway that's got a good steep to it. And all the rock's gone. It's rutted. The only car that was getting up and down this driveway was my wife's 4x4. Everybody else, was just, screw you. Walk up the driveway from the bottom kind of thing. So I'm gonna get a tractor probably for that, and it's plenty. I've got 5 acres of property here, so there's plenty of other things I can use a tractor for. So we're gonna look into that. I'm not sure if we're gonna get one or not. It really depends on if it's worth my time and money to get invested into. Because these things are like, you know, for the small, they call subcompact tractors.
Yeah.
They're basically kind of a one step up from a riding lawnmower in the fact that they can have a scoop on the front and a hoe on the back. Not Grand Theft Auto, just for the record. Different kind of hoe. Anyways. So yeah, so I'm doing that. I'm getting a bunch of editing done, like I told you about, for my my writing vlog.
Awesome.
Which I will be putting some more stuff up soon. I have a whole bunch of clips now, just little clips of people driving like dumbasses and other things. I'm going to try to get that put together, put that up as well. I'm trying to decide if I want to just release the clips individually, because they're like a minute long kind of clips. Or if I want to plug them all together and have just one episode that's just a bunch of clips. And then I need to get around to editing that crash video from a while back. And get it put up, because one thing I've been talking about doing for a while, so I'm going to be doing that as well. So that's my life right now. I'll let you know about where I sit with that. Again, I do have Twitter accounts. I really haven't been active on them. My gaming account lets you know when gaming videos have come up. My other account, I just haven't gone around to really reviving it yet. I apologize. I really honestly, guys, again, the best way to get a hold of me is just hit up ballrocketgaming.com or hit up our Discord. And join us there. That's the best place to catch me and catch all of us, to be honest with you. So if you want, go over to ballrocketgaming.com, check us out. We have a lot of things coming up all the time. There's always some event, some person that's streaming, like Nacho, like Bunny. Things are always happening. So this is a really good destination to find out what the haps is. And likewise, guys, certainly do appreciate you guys following along with us. Again, if you enjoy this kind of content, having fun, watching me be a freaking derp because I'm spacey today, definitely make sure you leave a like down below, comment, hit the little dingly bell. Apparently that's the new thing, is just, you can't just subscribe.
Smash that bell.
Yeah. You can't just subscribe. Now you have to subscribe, hit the bell.
And hit the bell.
Give it a like. Make sure you comment. Send a pigeon. Tell 5 of your friends. Have them subscribe. Oh, Jesus Christ, this is getting so stupid. You know,
and
guys.
So on.
If you enjoy our content, we do appreciate it. Again, we do this for fun. We do this for enjoyment. We do this for you know, your enjoyment as well. So giving us a shout out is also a huge help too. If you, whatever you're working on, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, give us a shout out, point it back to our YouTube channel here. Let them know what's going on. That's a huge help. If you also want to help out monetarily, we do have a Patreon account, so please feel free to donate if you like. This is something, it's a slush fund. Me as a board member for the Ball Rock Gaming Group, we're obligated to pay the responsibilities of things like the server we have for Minecraft and other games. We basically pay the bills to keep the lights on. The money we get from you guys in donation goes back into the community to help the community out, whether it's buying a game for somebody when they're short the game and can't afford it and they want to join us for an event, or to do some fun stuff, possibly giveaways in the future, I don't know. But this is just a way to help us give back to our community. That's what Ball Rocket is built around, is us giving back to people who are part of Ball Rocket. So if you like doing that, that's how you do it. If you want to become part of the community, head over to ballrocketgaming.com and join us, because we'd love to have some more people. So anyways, guys, Kirok, my friend, thank you very much. I appreciate you always joining me. I'm glad we were able to. It
was a lot of fun. Thank you.
I was afraid you were going to make it.
Making that work out.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, no.
Kirok was here. Yay, I was wrong about last week's. Thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for sitting through another episode of this, and we will catch you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.